نجما يشع بأنوار وألوان مبارك زوجها جاءت على درار زوج النقاء بتتويج وإبهار.
So let's begin now. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Today is our the third and the last session for Surah Kafirun. And I hope that we'll be able to finish the strategies that I'm sharing today. I'm hoping that we can complete all of them today, inshallah, and I'm able to deliver them all today in this session. And this is again, I welcome you all in the Raising Quran Loving Kids, the proven teaching strategies for every age. The fun part is if you try these strategies, even with the elderly people, they are going to have a lot of fun in learning surahs through these strategies, because I've tried it with my mom as well, and she really loved how I taught, I used the strategy with her, because it was hard for her to memorize the translation, especially when you know that they are in the old age. It's harder. So I chose a game, and I played that game with her, and I did it many times that finally she was able to memorize the translation. So just wanted to share that, even if you're working with elderly people, you can, of course, for sure, apply these strategies. Okay, and let's begin. We really need to purify our intentions before we start. So we're going to start with the name of Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma hdi qalbi wasaddid lisani waslul sakhimati qalbi. Oh Allah, guide my heart, set my tongue straight, and remove resentment from my heart. These sessions are purely for the for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and I are here to keep ourselves on straight path, be thankful to Allah, and to serve people around us by serving children. So what we are doing is you're learning, I wouldn't say you learning, I would say you are being shared. What I know, I'm just sharing with you. So I don't want to think as if I know most of the part. No, there are so many things which are there in you. You have certain skills. Inshallah, you using your own skills, you can raise your children in a better way. I'm just providing a little help or support, and by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I consider if you know something, just pass it on. If you know something, pass it on, and be a help to people around you. And we all are here to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. And let's begin with our surah. And when I started, I asked in the question in the chats that how many verses are there. And thank you so much, Sarah, for letting me know that there are 6 verses in the surah. And see, you are absolutely right. So this is called the game that I just played with you when we started the discussion in the start. When I asked you how many verses, it is kind of a mystery game. We can play that in our classroom, like a warm up, like a startup of any lesson. So when you entered into the room and I asked you, do you know how many verses are there, or do you know whether it's a Makki surah or Madni? So this was just a warm up question, and you answered, and your answer was correct. I didn't show you, but now I'm showing you. So it's called a mystery game as well, that we find out an answer, and then we later on show the child, see, this is the proof. I can show you now. This, we have 6 verses. You can do the same if you are in the classroom or you are at home with the children. Ask first and then open up your Quran and then show the child, see, you are right. There are 6 verses in the surah, right? Let's listen to the recitation now.
من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون
I'm so sorry if there was a little echo in this. I usually try to, you know, add recitations from children sometime. This is one of the child who has recited this surah. So just to encourage them, because we all are learning, and even this child is, he's learning to recite the Quran. And there might be some mistakes in his tajweed, but we have to provide everybody the chance how they can participate, and they will, when they feel encouraged, they participate even more. Our main purpose here is to connect them to Quran. So and here the recitation that I included was from a child. I would say if you want to use a listening activity for your kids, please find good recitation with tajweed, and give them the listening part. This is for me just to encourage the child who would be listening with his mother. Okay, yeah, it's just an encouragement for him. Now, let's see the activities that we have designed for this session. What is Surah Al-Kafirun about? We ourselves have to know as an adult, as a teacher, or as a mother, if we are talking to the children, because you might not be sitting in a formal environment with the kids and teaching this surah. If with teenagers, it's usually during activities when you are doing community work, you can discuss the surah. And if you are with the elderly children like 18 to 24, with them, it's also not, you are not going to be sitting in, maybe you're not sitting in a formal sitting, and you're just, when you are talking to them about their certain problems and you are discussing this surah. So you really have to know the what are the lessons behind it, or what could be the surah about, so that you could give them the message for this surah and discuss, ask them that, do you remember what was there in Surah Kafirun? Because same happened with me, and I was traveling with some teenager boys, 16, 17 years, and we all were going for a group activity. We all went for a community work. We had to clean a building. So we all went for the cleaning of that building. And on the way back, and I asked them that, do you know what is the meaning behind Surah Kafirun, or what do you think what message does Surah Kafirun gives to you? And then they started to talk to me. It was so interesting to hear their point of view, their opinion, and then all of a sudden a topic came which I was so surprised about. One of the boys said, "Do you know what is the biggest problem that we are facing in our age group?" And I was like listening to them carefully. I said, "Yes, what is it?" So they said that, we are trying to protect ourselves as much as we can from zina. And this was not shocking for me to hear, but I am so thankful to Allah. He gave me a situation where I can talk to them, even though this was a topic which I was not so comfortable, but still I had to, because someone has to answer their questions, right? So when this boy shared with me, it's so hard, and we try to tell our friends that this is our way, and we are not going to be follow what you are saying. So they do come into situations where they actually need to decide that whether they have to be in a certain group or not. Absolutely. These are teenagers, and they face different situations around them. So I guided him and I asked him, what would you think would be the best way to decide for yourself? If you think it was his way, and I don't want to say anything on that or comment on anything on that. I just wanted to tell him that this is my way and I want to follow this way because this is right for me and this is what my religion says. And then I asked him, what does your religion say about it? And then he said, yes, if we have to have a if we want to avoid zina, if we want to protect ourselves, we have to be in a halal relationship. And for halal relationship, we need to have a married life with the person whom we like. So not, you know, not being harmful to the other person, and also not playing with emotions of the other person. We cannot have, we have to have limits, and we need to know our boundaries. And I was so happy to hear his answer. I just didn't talk much because it was not relevant to the topic, but sometimes things comes from the same this surah I wasn't even imagining. So then I realized how some scholars say about this surah that Muslims worship, Muslim only worship Allah, and he is slave of Allah 24 hours. Then I realized how that scholar mentioned being slave of Allah. Abd or ubudiya. Abd is an Arabic word. So yes, worship. Worship is prayers, saying prayers, giving zakat, doing hajj, but also being a slave of Allah 24 hours. Considering yourself that you are always answerable for the actions that you're doing. So I was so happy to hear his opinion about how he was dealing with his friends. So being a slave of Allah, that's what we are learning. So he, in his mind, he was conscious of Allah and he knew what was being in a halal relationship or a haram relationship. He knew about that. So then we discussed it, and it was good to hear this perspective of Surah as well. So we do not mix Islam with other beliefs. For sure, they might be having parties, they might be, other religions, but we need to know what kind of gatherings we need to go in. And same when we are with the children, we need to check what beliefs they have. So we really have to be, in a way, respectful of what they are trying to say. We need to understand. So in games, in discussions, we can ask them to share. And this is how we come to read the mind of the children around us. We respect others. Now, what is the message? We respect others. But we don't change our religion to make them happy. So children should know that, no, I'm not making my friend happy. If he wants me to go to a certain party where I shouldn't be going, I have to tell him that yes, I am still your friend, but going to that party is not in my religion, and I have never learned this from my family, so I have to stay away. So this is how you are being respectful to even your own self. Yes, there are many halal ways of being happy, but this is not one that is suitable for me. So the children should have this conviction and should be able to say no when they have to say no respectfully to their friends, right? I know it's a hard age because it's a friend's age, but we need to know how to even bring these topics into discussion. What do we learn from this surah? Again, another scenario. Okay, so stay strong in your faith. But now I'm talking about another situation. There is a, I will be discussing this story. There is a girl who's trying to offer hijab, and she's learning to wear hijab, but it's harder for her because she's in a school where that is not liked much by other but children around her. So I will be coming up to this story, but here there is just a message, and you as a teacher or a mother should know this, that we have to be strong in our faith. So first we have to be strong in our faith. And how do we carry ourselves? How do we have our dressing? Are we following, the sunnah way? Are we taking care of our dressing so that we can be a role model for the children around us? That's we need to think. Don't mix right and wrong. This is We have to be very clear that no partial coming in. It's adopting the complete methodology of Islam. It's coming into Islam and following Sunnah, and then also knowing right and wrong, not mixing them. We don't have to be confused ourselves, otherwise we are going to confuse the children. So, let's say I'm wearing a hijab in one place, but I'm not wearing a hijab in another place where I say that here I can take it off because you know what? I know all these people, they are my cousins, they are my friends. So I'm not outside, but I'm inside. So this is called a confusion. If I am not sure, I have to check into details. I have to go into further details and need to learn further what is right and wrong before I give it to the children. So please avoid these situations, and if we need to learn. Be kind to others, even if they believe differently. So if you face a situation, how can you, in a better way, speak your words, and you're not even being rude and harsh, but actually you are passing your point of view. That is absolutely right. So you need to know the ways, and then never stop hoping for others to find the truth. So even though Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and they had to finally tell these kuffar that this is your way, your method, and your way of worshipping, but I'm not going to follow this way because my worship and whom I worship is not the same like yours. So when Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that, it's not that he stopped preaching Islam. He still carry on. He still carried on with the delivering the message. He was always hopeful in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he knew that Allah is going to help him. And then we do know that Fatah Makkah took place later, right? And then yes, victory came for the Muslims, and he was so helpful. So things turned out well for the Muslims. Let's look into another activity now. Match the correct messages. Here are some messages that we just learned, right? No compromise, Allah is one, respectful boundaries, Prophet's mercy, respectful boundaries. Again, there are some repeated. So let the child see now, have you delivered your message? What your discussion that you did with the boys, are they able to match these slips? So like the previous one was all about discussion, right? We were discussing with the different age groups. Now, can they do it? So we can see if they can do it. Let's do one. Allah is one. Which slip would tell you and how the message that Allah is one, and they can match, we worship only him. And then respectful boundaries. So be kind to others, even if they believe differently, can be a respectful boundary. Then Prophet's mercy. He still invited people to Islam, was Prophet's mercy, right? Yeah, okay. Let's continue. Another activity. Oh, let me discuss this. Why I added eggshells here. There is, if you're doing this work with a younger age group, like let's say someone within 9 years, like 5 to 9 years, or 5 to 6 years, or 4 to 6 years, if you're doing with them, you can take eggs and then take out the liquidy part inside, and then wash it and dry it, and then you can put slips in the eggshells. And so how many are here? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can take 5 eggshells and then put these 5 purple slips in those eggs. And you can hide it in the room, or you can keep it on another table at a little distance, because with younger kids, they want to move around and learn. I remember in my previous session, I mentioned that children are in a motor sensorial age. So they really love to learn by following an order, or through actions, through movements, and also through their senses. So they would love to hold the shell, do this activity with you. It is really fun. You could empty out the eggshells and then eggs, and then wash them with the child, keep them for drying. They would love to do this activity. And then empty them, and then you can put the slips inside with them. They like to transfer, they like to pour in this age. So they are going to pour out the liquid for you, they can wash it for you, and then you can fold the slips. They love folding in this age. So you can fold the slips, put it inside, and then ask the child to either blindfold his eyes. They even do that. So you are actually isolating the sense. You are making him wear a blindfold. So you're not using his visual sense now. He will be really, really super curious of what you're doing, and he will be super excited. Okay. So, and then you can go hide the eggshell somewhere, and then the child can hunt the eggs, and then go and look for the eggs, and then take out the meanings. And you have the yellow ones on the table already set in a vertical column, and they can pull out the slips, bring the egg, pull out the slips, and match it. Sounds like fun? Yes, for younger children, absolutely, it's a fun activity. Let's come with a story. We didn't do any story for Surah Kafirun yet. So this is the story that Enral prepared for you. Enral is an education organization, the one which prepares stories and Montessori Islamic material. Okay, so this is one story prepared by Enral, and who designed this story is Miral Fatima. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Miral. And let's begin with our story. The story of Surah Al Kafirun, the Prophet and the leaders of Makkah. A long time ago, in the city of Makkah, there lived our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was kind, honest, and always spoke the truth. Allah chose him to teach people about one God, Allah, and to stop worshipping idols. But many people in Makkah didn't like that. They loved their idols and didn't want to change. The leaders of the Quraysh, the big tribe in Makkah, tried everything to stop the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from spreading the message of Islam. One day, some of the leaders came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "Let's make a deal. You worship our idols for 1 year, and then we'll worship your God for 1 year." They thought this would make everyone happy. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said no. He knew that we must worship only Allah and never idols, not even for 1 second. So Allah sent down a special surah to help the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam answer them. It is called Surah Al-Kafirun, the disbelievers. Let's listen to the meaning of surah. The surah says, "Say, O disbelievers, I do not worship what you worship, nor do you worship what I worship, and I will not worship what you worship, nor will you worship what I worship. To you be your religion, and to me mine." Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair, and thank you, Miral Fatima, for preparing and designing this story. And it is in the chat. She has put the she has put the PDF for you, so you can.
I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, did you guys hear the story that I said?
Yes, it was cut off after.
Oh, cut off after. Okay, right after the story. Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Thank you so much for letting me know. You're such a big help. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at this story card now. So we are looking at a story card. We can have story card for elderly children. So the story that I shared with you was for the younger age group. That was for 4 to 7 or 8 years old. Okay, and this one can go above 8. This can be 9 years onwards. So for let's say 9 to 12 years, or even to 9 to 16 years. So you can use this story card with them. Now, the problem that I shared with you earlier is about a girl who is trying to carry her hijab to her new school where she has just moved in. You know how it is when you move from one place to another and then you are adjusting, right? And it's even harder for the teenagers. So, this child is a teenager and she is trying to adjust in her new environment. It is hard for her because she's having scarf or hijab, and whereas the other friends of her are not wearing it. And of course, then there can arise a situation where people would make fun of her. And then how did she deal with this, situation? So, so let's read now here. Zainab and the school play. Zainab's class was getting ready for the big school play. Oh, just okay. Everyone was excited. The teacher asked each child to choose what they wanted to do. Some kids wanted to sing songs, some wanted to act, and many wanted to dance. When it was Zainab's turn, she shook her head politely and said, I'm sorry, I can't dance or take off my hijab. My parents taught me that these things are not part of my deen, but I can help with decorating the stage, making posters, and arranging the costumes. A few children laughed and whispered, why does she always wear that scarf? Why can't she dress up and just dance like us? She is no fun. Zainab felt her cheeks turn red. For a moment, she felt left out, but then she remembered what her Quran teacher had explained about Surah Al-Kafirun. We don't have to do what others are doing if it goes against our deen. We respect their choices, but we proudly keep ours. Zainab stood tall, smiled gently, and said, you know what? You can do your part, and I will do mine. For you will be your reward, and for me will be my reward. The teacher stepped in and said kindly, Zainab is right. Everyone has different ways of shining. Her posters and stage decorations will make the play even more special. So, what happened? Allah helped her, and on the day of the play, everyone admired the colorful posters, shiny stars, and beautiful stage Zainab had worked on. She didn't have to change who she was. She shone brightly by pleasing Allah and being herself. So that's the story. If you find a girl around you or a child around you, or even with the kids in the classroom, they are not sometimes open, they are not sharing if they are being bullied. But you can share these stories to provide them confidence and also indirectly the message of Surah Al-Kafirun. So, by from here, I came to realize another meaning that comes out of the word for you is your religion. Lakum deenukum waliya deen. So, deen here is from another scholar. I learned that, deen is not only like the another concept is not just religion, but it's also recompense. Like what consequence you are going to be having or receiving for what you are doing and what consequences I'm going to have. So we know disbelievers are going to go to hellfire. And if you are on the right path and, doing, fulfilling all Allah's commands, so inshallah, with Allah's will, you're going to go to Jannah, right? So, recompenses like facing the consequences of what you do or what I do. So this is also one of the meanings. And through this story, how beautifully this is delivered, this meaning of the surah. And though here the child, what she meant was, for you will be your reward and for me will be my reward, is just the reward from the participation in the play. And that also in the end we did see that Allah helped her, and she and her all her efforts were so attractive and so much admired by everyone. So this is having a reward in this world. But the child should also have in his back of mind that if he's struggling on the path of Allah, so certainly there will also be a reward after death, like, at the end. So that's some messages more that arises from Surah Kafirun. So kid-friendly lesson, what we can discuss here is, just like Zainab, we don't need to do what everyone else is doing. Allah loves us most when we stay true to our deen and do good with confidence. We can even ask children what they have learned. So you might hear different stories from different children after doing this story card. And then Abdullah bin Masud. Now, this is a very beautiful hadith. You can also relate this hadith at this situation, either before the classroom or after the story card. Abdullah bin Masud asked Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which deed is the best deed? And he said, saying prayers on time. And then he asked, then which one? And then he mentioned, when one is protected from your tongue. That means we really, really need to be conscious, like just being slave of Allah, that 24 hours, we have to understand that our tongue should be such that we are not hurting others. Others are protected from our tongue. So, this is one more message that can go with this story, that be very careful when you're passing remarks to other kids. So like the other children were making fun, and we need to send this message across the Muslim children that we shouldn't be one of them. Okay. So you can also control bullying this way. Okay, same story, but with the maths sequencing, sequence the story. You can see the colored bead bars. One is red, two is green, pink is, the pink is the number 3, right? So here you can see that the cards for younger kids, those who will listen to your story and would like to sequence for you. So the card, you can either print it on a colored paper, you can print the story card on a colored paper and cut it out and then give it in a mixed order to the child, and the child can sequence it if he's working with the colored bead bars, the teen numbers. It's the same story, so that I don't have to repeat it. Okay. Okay. Shield of confidence with younger children. We have to tell them this surah provides confidence to children, and they love to make props. They like to play with the props. So you can do this craft activity with the kids. Give the child cardboard or a paper plates. Ask them to decorate a shield of confidence with words like faith, prayer, kindness, truth, and all. Remember, all these are messages of Surah Kafirun. These are the worship that the Muslims do. So faith, prayer, kindness, truth, all are the messages that you can write down on the shield. And then explain Surah Kafirun. Give us Surah Kafirun and gives us a shield to protect our faith. We don't copy wrong actions. We stay strong. And then just play with them. Do this, make this activity and play with your child at home. Let him have his shield and you can have your shield. This is one activity on write the difference. So a writing task, you can give it to the teenagers or even elder ones if they are writing something. And then you can ask them, what do you think these two stories, these picture cards tells you? So it can be history, it can be a past time and a present time. They can also write down that this is a Kaaba, which was a long, long ago Kaaba, in where idols were there, but this is the present Kaaba. And then, people are coming here for worshipping, and this is they are doing tawaf. They can write all about tawaf, what they have learned, or they can also write about Hajj or Umrah if they know more details. Okay, so can be a beautiful writing activity. You can select the two pictures, show it to the children, and they can do this writing task with you. Give reasons. You need to bring them to higher thinking. We want the children to be with the higher thinking. So these are more activities that shows higher thinking. Idols in the Kaaba talks more about history. And then rituals and practices, some history that is shared. And then transition to monotheism, how does it help? What can help you if you change? Like what changes would they have experienced in their point of view? Now, this is, thank you. Now, this is asking teenagers, what change do you think would have come in them when they were worshipping idols, and now that they are worshipping one God? What transition do you think they would have gone through? And then hear what they say. Honestly, they share beautiful stuff with you, and beautiful concepts that they have in their mind. How believing in one God can make them feel strong. Just think yourself how powerful you feel when you're only dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you can connect the Surah class here with Surah Kafirun, because Surah class is, that's completely against shirk, right? So Surah class tells them that we believe in only one God, and then how that brings strength in us, because Allah is as-Samad, and then there is none like him. So they can come up with this on their own, that yeah, they learned this surah and they can connect the meanings. Or why can't they continue worshipping idols? Can be another reasoning question, and then they can give reasons to you that yeah, why not worshipping idols? There is one very interesting story that I recently went through. I went into a carnival, where it was a carnival because we are living in a multicultural society, a community, I would say. So in North America, we do have to go to different events where we do see beliefs with different people, people having with different beliefs. So they were worshiping a few idols over there, and then on the way back home, I had to discuss this scenario with my child, and I just shared with her, like, how thankful we should be that we are Muslims and we are born in a Muslim family, and not to take it for granted. We need to pay. We need to be thankful, and we need to adopt ways how we can thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because uh, we could, like, God forbid, but we could have been in their place, that they don't even know what they're doing right now. So how is it if you continue worshiping idols for them? That was a true feeling that I went through at that time. And then my daughter with me went through the same feelings, that yes, you're so right, mama. What if we were here? They are just doing things which I don't even think that is intelligent, because if we think logically, what is this idol providing me? What benefit is it giving to me when I myself has shaped this idol, and I have designed this idol, and I've kept it here? How can I worship the same thing which I designed or which I made with my own hands? So that made sense to her, and even that made sense to me, that what changes would have come when the people, honestly, in the history, when people would have turned to just worshiping in one God, that is Allah. And we are so thankful to Allah for sending prophets, and and especially in the last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because through his seerah we learn and try to adopt ways which we can do right. Like We have to be thankful to Allah, and always think on Watiullah, Watiur Rasul. And let's pray now. May Allah make this task of understanding Quran easy for us, and also to deliver it to the people around us, and make help and to be helpful to the community and society, and to raise a strong Muslim ummah, and to raise Muslim children who could serve in the society and be powerful for each one of us and for everyone. And may Allah make us successful both the worlds, in the dunya and in the hereafter. Ameen summa ameen.